Hola, Miss Brighton here. Today, I'm going to teach you how to use Nearpod. Now, I realize some of my students have used Nearpod in the past with me, either in the classroom or during our virtual learning this spring. But I also know that there's some students who have never used Nearpod before. So this is going to show you how to log on to the website, access your lesson, and even go through some of the cool features that Nearpod has. I think Nearpod is an awesome virtual learning platform, and we use it a lot in Spanish class. So this tutorial is really important. The lesson that we're going to be using as our example lesson today is the Hispanic Heritage Month lesson, the same one that I assigned to all of you for this week's Spanish class. All right, ready? Let's get started. So, as you can see, my screen is already up at Google. You're going to need to go onto the internet to access Nearpod. So, in Google, in my search bar, I'm just going to type in Nearpod, Nearpod. That's how you spell it. Okay. Once I click that, you will see it comes up in search right here. I have a link just for the regular Nearpod website. I have a link right here for teachers. And right underneath it, I have another one that says Nearpod student. That's the one you need to access. So I'm going to go ahead and click that right now. Okay, once I do, I'll be brought to this page where Nearpod is asking me for a code. In your Google Classrooms, where I have assigned this Nearpod to you, I also have included the code. And I will do that every single time. The code will always be where the Nearpod was assigned, usually in your Google Classroom. So I have a code right here, and that's what I am going to type in. Okay, once I do, I will hit join. And it brings me to this other screen. Now, I'm going to get rid of that first. Now, on this next screen, there are two boxes. The first box wants you to put your name. The second box is just an optional box. So we are going to leave that second box blank. I don't want anything in that second box, okay? In the first box, I'm going to ask that you please put your first and last name. And the only reason for that is because I know there are some students in the school who both have the same first name. So I want to make sure I'm giving you credit for all the work you're doing. So make sure you add your last name so I know who you are. I'm going to put my name in as an example. Okay. And once my name is in, I'm going to hit join lesson. Okay, now I am in my lesson. There will always be kind of like a title page screen to let you know that you're there. Some other things that you should be looking for to know that you're in your lesson are the blue arrows on either side of your screen. So right now I've got a blue arrow over here and another blue arrow over here. That's how I move from slide to slide throughout the lesson. I can move forward, or if I forgot something, I can move backward. Perfect. So on this slide, there's another special icon I want to show you. And it's this icon up in the corner, the one that looks like a book with a volume sign. That's how you access a lot of Nearpod's really cool features. Now, when I click that, my whole look of my slide and my presentation is going to change. So just be aware, you did not do anything wrong by clicking that, but it does look a little funny afterward. All right, once I click that, I am now here and able to use some features Nearpod has added that can help you, especially if you are at home learning. The first one I want to show you is Nearpod actually can read the lesson to you. Pretty cool, right? So if I wanted that to happen, I would press this blue play button down here. And once I do, it's going to read what's on my slide. Ready? Perfect. And it highlights each word as it reads it. Did you see that? That's pretty awesome. Later on in the Spanish school year, that is going to be a great tool when you're listening to somebody speak Spanish. You can follow along and see exactly what word they are saying when. It's really helpful, right? Now, right next to that play button, there's a volume button and a settings icon. It's right here. If I click that, that's how I adjust my voice settings. I can pick whether I want a female voice or a male voice reading to me. And I can also adjust how fast or how slow they talk. Now, right now, mine is on speed 1. And I think that that one is most like how normal people talk. But if you wanted it to go a little faster, you would just drag this towards the hair. And if you wanted it to go slower, you would just drag it towards the turtle. But I'm going to leave mine right at 1. Okay. Now, there are some other things I can do that might be helpful to you guys as we go through Nearpod lessons in the future. One of them is up here where these letter A's are, and that just lets you change the size of your font. Oop, I'm in the way. The size of your font. So if you need to see something a little bit bigger, you can do that, or smaller. And it also lets you choose what type of font you are seeing it in. So maybe that font is easier for you to read. You could do that too. Another thing, this magic wand up here is going to come in handy a little later into the Spanish year. This can highlight different parts of speech. So it can highlight all of the adjectives for you, or all of the nouns, or all of the verbs. See how they just turned red? You can do that if you want, but the most useful for us as Spanish learners is probably going to be this one up here that says syllables or syllables, right? Do you remember doing that when you were little? When I turn the syllables on, you can see it breaks the words down. Now, in this example, it only broke down the word about, but that little dot in between is telling you that's where the syllable breaks. So, about. See how it's 2 syllables now? Yeah. Later on, when you're working on your pronunciation in Spanish, that is going to be really helpful as you sound out some bigger Spanish words. All right. Now, if you're like, I don't need any of these features, don't worry. You can always go back to how it was before. And that you just simply click this arrow right here. I know it says exit. It is not going to exit you from the lesson. It's only going to exit you from this special features mode. That's it. So when I hit that arrow, I'm right back where we were. Perfect. Now, we're going to move throughout the lesson because I want to show you how Nearpod works. Every slide in Nearpod can be different. Sometimes I have slides that are similar activities, or sometimes they're all different activities. And I want to make sure you know how to work every single one of them. So the next thing we're going to do is move on to our next slide. And we do that by simply clicking the arrow over here. Sorry, my camera's a little reversed from what I'm seeing. This arrow over here. All right, when we click that, as you can see, right now we have a question. It says, what is your heritage? Now, we are going to talk about heritage a little bit before we get into Hispanic Heritage Month, in case you don't know what that word means. But I just want to show you what this Nearpod activity is. So sometimes I will ask you a question that I want you to answer. And once you do, you type in your answer at the bottom, right down here in this box. And when you're done typing, if I type answer, you'll see the post button pops up blue. Once it does and you feel like you've answered the question, you can go ahead and click post and it will pop up on here. Now, what's cool is you can see all of your classmates' answers pop up on the screen, just like mine did. And for this question, I think that's really cool to kind of compare where you're all from and see if maybe you have something in common. All right, on to the next slide. Now, this slide is just a slide with some information that I would like you to read. Again, you can click this button up here and have it read it to you if you feel like you need that extra help. Okay, let's keep going. Again, just a slide to read. All right, this is another question slide. You can see if you're the first one to get there and nobody has answered the question yet, it looks just a little bit different, right? But you're doing the same thing as before. You're gonna come down here, type your answer to that question, and then once you do, make sure you hit post. Okay, this slide, I don't know if you can tell, is a video slide. So what you would do at home is just hit this play button right here, and it's going to play a YouTube video for you. All right. After you're done watching the video and you've moved to the next slide, as you can see, we have another open-ended question. So what's different about this question is when I answer it, it's not going to pop up and show my answers everywhere. Instead, your answers are just going to be sent straight to me. A little bit different, right? So it says, is there something your family does that celebrates your heritage? Maybe you celebrate a certain holiday, or you always make a certain type of food, or maybe there's a certain name in your family that gets passed down over and over again. So thinking about my heritage and where I'm from, answering this question, there's really not much we do, but I can say around Christmas Eve, we do have a celebration where we eat pasteles. And pasteles are something that my Puerto Rican family members brought over here and taught us about. So I would say I eat pasteles at Christmas time. Now, once I type my answer, make sure you come down here and you hit this blue submit button. If you don't, it will show up on my end like you never answered the question. So make sure you click that. All right, once you do, it has already taken me to the next slide. Now, this one's really fun. This time to climb is time for you to test your knowledge and see how much you have learned as you've done this Nearpod activity. It's really cool because you get to choose a character and there are more options. There's some characters here, or if you hit this white arrow, it shows you some more. So you can pick who you'd like to be. I think I'm going to be this cute panda bear. And once you feel ready with your character, you're going to hit the start button down here. Okay, now what happens is you have some questions to answer. You have 30 seconds to answer each question. Just try your best, guys. I'm not grading this. But I hope you remember all the information from our Nearpod. All right, once you finish your time to climb, it will be the end of the Nearpod and your screen will probably look like this. If you're on this screen, congratulations! You are done with your Spanish Nearpod assignment. You do not have to start it over. You can just close that tab like I'm going to, and you're good to go. So I hope this helped you figure out how to use Nearpod as you use it for this week's lesson on Hispanic Heritage Month. If you have any questions or if Nearpod's behaving a little weird, let me know and I'm more than happy to help you. All right, adios, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Ah.